Hello and welcome to PowerBuilder 12. In this video, I'll be providing you with a guided tour of the new PowerBuilder .NET IDE. When you start PowerBuilder .NET, the first thing you will notice is a start page. This start page will provide you with the latest information about what is happening in the PowerBuilder community. Events, webcasts, and information about new releases and product updates will be available via the PowerBuilder blog site hosted on Sybase.com. From the start page, you can choose an option from the Getting Started section, or if you have previously used PowerBuilder.net, you will see a list of recently accessed solutions. Let's start by selecting the Tour solution. And let's take a moment to look at the Solution Explorer that appears over here on the left-hand side. As PowerBuilder developers, you're familiar with the system tree in the classic version of PowerBuilder, and the Solution Explorer serves the same purpose. In PowerBuilder.net, workspaces are referred to as solutions, but they serve the same purpose. Underneath your solution, you'll see a target, and underneath your target, you will have a list of pibbles, and your pibbles will contain your PowerBuilder objects. You can expand the objects in the Solution Explorer, and if you use the right mouse button, you will get a context-sensitive menu providing you with a list of options for the level you've selected. You'll notice that there's a References folder, and the References folder, if you expand that, will contain a list of .NET assemblies that are used to create your WPF-based application. These assemblies are automatically populated when you create a new target. And you can also add additional references which can refer to assemblies from the .NET framework or from third-party .NET developers. If you go to the toolbar button and click on New, you'll get a dialog that will give you the option to create a number of different objects. Let's go ahead and create a WPF window. We can provide a title for that window, as well as a name. When we click the Next button, we are presented with a layout panel option. The default is a grid layout panel, and you can choose from a canvas, which is like you get with a Win32 application, and pretty much absolute positioning with what you see is what you get. There's also a dock panel, a stack panel, and a wrap panel. We'll go ahead and accept the default grid. And then we can specify any namespace, using directives, or interfaces that we want to use with this window. We'll go ahead and skip that, and we're now ready to click Finish and create our window. And we can see that we have in the window painter a visual representation of our window. But we also have down below here a XAML editor, which represents the markup language for our presentation layer. Over on the right hand side, you'll see a toolbox, and the toolbox contains a number of tabs. I've already customized mine to contain different controls, either from third-party vendors or the standard PowerBuilder WPF controls. And let's just start with a command button. Drag that on my form, and we can see in the property window that we've got our command button with a default name of CV_1. I'll change that to hello, and we can also change the text for that button and see that change reflected in the Visual Designer. The XAML editor also will show the changes that are made. We can see the name has been changed as well as the text. And we can even make edits in the XAML editor itself. Let's say hello PBWPF. And notice that the change is immediately reflected in the Visual Designer. So PowerBuilder keeps the XAML editor and the Visual Designer in sync. When a change is made in one location, it is immediately reflected in the other. Now let's take a look at the script editor. If you double click on the control, it will open up the script editor and you can see the drop down will list for you the window as well as any controls on that window, let you access the functions, properties, structures, and so forth. And when we select the CB Hello command button, we can see in the second drop down a list of events that can be coded, the clicked event being the default. Now I'm going to start typing, and you'll notice that the IntelliSense window pops up, giving me a list of all of the properties, methods, and events and so forth that are available for the particular control that I'm editing. If I start typing message box, we'll see that the IntelliSense gives us the list of arguments that are available for that function, and you can see that there are 16 overloads for the message box function. We'll just use the basic window title as well as the message that we want to display. Go ahead and click Save, and the last thing we need to do before we can run our application is in the Applications Open event, code the window open function. And you can see that our window, W-Guided Tour, shows up in the IntelliSense. We can select that by just hitting the Tab key and then hit the Save button. Next, we'll go ahead and select the Full Build toolbar button to build our target. And we can see in the output window down below that the application is being built, and once it's completed, we can click on the running man icon, run our application, and we can just completed building our first WPF application using PowerBuilder.net. Now let's take a look at a few more features that the new PowerBuilder.net IDE offers. If you look at all of these property windows, the output window, the toolbox, the Solution Explorer, you'll notice that they all have some icons on their title bar. The pin allows you to pin one of these tool windows open, and if you go ahead and unpin that window, it will slide over to the side, and that's called the auto hide feature. This gives you more screen real estate to work with while doing your application development. And if you just put the mouse over that particular tab, it will pop open the window and then you can work with it. So your choice is to either pin the window open or go ahead and set up for auto hide. You also have the ability to reposition any of the tool windows. If you just grab the title area, you can start to move it, and you can see all of the locations that that particular tool window can be docked to. If we want to dock this to the top, for example, we can just go and point to that little icon, and now we can see our Solution Explorer encompasses the entire top area of the IDE. If I right click, I can make it a tab document, and then I can switch back and forth between the various tab windows, and ultimately I may want to make that dockable again, and therefore I can select that and drag it back to its original position. So that is the first introduction to the PowerBuilder.net IDE. The next video will go into more detail about some of the other configuration options that are available to you as a PowerBuilder developer.